Good day, everyone. Welcome to Real Conservative News. I'm your host, Nathaniel Rajkumar. Prime Minister, we the people's Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, Kamala Persad-Bissessar, is expecting that there will be a deficit in the 2025-2026 budget. The Prime Minister spoke to reporters outside Parliament on Friday. She said, "I do not believe that we will have a balanced budget because we've inherited some really bad treasury stocks." Exactly. We've inherited a lot of borrowings as well. I don't think we can have a balanced budget, so we may have expenditure outpacing revenues. So we will have to find creative ways to supplement this revenue. So in other words, there will be a deficit, and we will have to find ways to finance that deficit by borrowing people. Mrs. Persad-Bissessar assured that the budget will be read in early October. However, a fixed date has not been determined. The Prime Minister said the government will explore solutions to tackle the budget deficit. She went on to say, "I've been in this parliament long enough. Many of you have been around. There are creative ways of financing deficits, and we will utilize the tools that are available in terms of financing the deficits that we expect we will find." But as I said on my other YouTube channel a little while ago, that at the end of the day, when you're in recovery mode, but even if you have a small business, you have to make these sacrifices and you have to even borrow more in order to be able to invest into your business, in order to be able to diversify, in order to be able to expand so that you can generate even more revenue, people. Now is not the time. It was the same thing with the big and beautiful bill in America with Donald Trump. When Elon Musk got angry and said, "Oh, too much money spending." But at the end of the day, you have to spend before you could be able to save. It sounds crazy, but it's true. Look at it from a normal, common man perspective. If you have a small store, if you have a store, you have a business, small or whatsoever, but basically more when you have a small business, because small business owners don't really have much collateral or anything like that, right? So you have a small business, and you're struggling at this point in time. You're in debt at this point in time. You're struggling even to pay your rent. What are you going to do? There's no way to be able to just generate more income without having to go and seek a loan, to get a loan, to apply for a loan. And it's when you apply for the loan, now you could purchase and invest in more products to be able to expand your business. And therefore, what is going to happen? Once you have a wider variety of products, and you could probably even pay for ads and stuff like that to promote your business, you're going to end up generating more income, more revenue. And therefore, when you start to generate more revenue, what you're going to be able to do? Two things. You're going to be able to pay off your debts. And besides paying off your debts, you'll also be able to have more money to be able to continue investing into your business. People, that's exactly what has to happen here right now. And even when it pertains to Petrochin, it's probably going to be billions of dollars to be able to reopen Petrochin. I'm just saying, but I believe so. It's going to be probably billions of dollars. But it will be worth it. Because Petrochin is the backbone of our economy. And that's the only way to be able to reset and to revive and to stimulate the economy sufficiently that we will be able to therefore do what? Start to pay off our debts and also diversify.
I do not believe we will have a balanced budget because we've inherited some really bad treasury stocks. We've inherited a lot of borrowings as well. I don't think we can have a balanced budget, so we may have expenditure outpacing revenues. And so we'll have to find creative ways to supplement those revenues. So in other words, there will be a deficit. And we will have to find ways to finance that deficit.
Mrs. Persad-Bissessar assured that the budget will be read in early October. However, a fixed date has not yet been determined. The Prime Minister said the government will explore solutions to tackle the budget deficit.
I've been in this parliament long enough. Many of you have been around. There are creative ways of financing deficits, and we will utilize the tools that are available in terms of financing the deficit that we expect we will find.
more overheating phones. Cool your phones in seconds. Prevents damage to phones and battery issues. Better gaming experience and streaming. USB powered and fast charging. Lightweight and quiet. Ideal for kids and adults. Works with all smartphones. Makes a great gift. Enjoy free island-wide delivery. Call or WhatsApp 868-762-6589. Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar has confirmed that Trinidad and Tobago has no discussions about invading Venezuela, calling recent comments by Venezuelan officials as fear-mongering. Exactly, of course, it's fear-mongering. And at the end of the day, mainstream media, the Syrian, local, Lebanese media, they are the ones that push the narratives. Because as I said yesterday, they can be reporting the stuff from Venezuela, but with constructive criticism as well in the reports, in the headlines. They do it when they are reporting about UNC. They criticize the UNC in a wonderful, subtle way. It's vindictive. I know it's vindictive. The population knows it's vindictive, but they do it. They do it, and they claim as though they are independent media, but they are not. They are PNM, 1% Syrian Lebanese media. And people always hear me talking about Syrian and Lebanese and whatsoever. I have nothing against the actual people, the common man, the common woman. They are normal, law-abiding, wonderful Syrian and Lebanese people here in Trinidad and Tobago. We are talking about the elites. And it's the elites and the culture of Syria itself and Lebanon and these countries that have been destroyed by radicalism. And I do believe a lot of the individuals living in Trinidad and Tobago are radicalized. And people will say, but no, but a lot of them are Catholics or whatever. It doesn't matter. They have the culture of Syria. And Syria destroyed itself. It was self-destructive. It is up to now. It's self-destroying itself. They are destroying themselves. ISIS is in control of Syria right now, people. ISIS, the murderous terrorist organization. ISIS is in charge of Syria. That's to tell you how destructive. So once again, it's about a culture. That doesn't mean that I want any sort of like how they have tribals nowadays that just want to send people into eternity because of whatever culture they have. I don't believe in that. I do not like the culture. I do not agree with the culture. Just like how I don't agree with gang culture. That does not mean I desire to send everybody that is under the spell of gang culture into eternity. That's the difference between people, Christian conservatives like myself, and the radicals on the other side. You won't be disappointed with this one. Look and feel great every day. Painless trimming with no pulling of hair guaranteed. Comfortable to hold and lightweight. Intelligent anti-pinch system. Safety travel lock. Accurate and painless trimming. Durability, 100% quality. Fast charging. To place an order, call or WhatsApp 868-762-6589. The government is not just dismissing employees of URP and CPEP, but there are plans in place for job creation. This is according to Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar as she responded to terminations across both programs in the past few weeks. I hope it is disbanded completely, both URP and CPEP. Those are PNM criminal organizations. Another lady said it. Another lady said it in our WhatsApp group. Those are criminal organizations that needs to be disbanded. And hire people to perform the same duties under the Ministry of Works. She said, we don't intend to just dismiss these persons as happened with CPEP, with the URP. We do have plans for job creation. Speaking to reporters outside Parliament on Friday afternoon, she insisted that the current state of the programs is one that cannot continue, and the Prime Minister is 100% correct. She said, well, it's unfortunate that we are at this stage where people need jobs, people need to be working, but we cannot, as I said to you. I think it was yesterday, I love people, but I don't like ghosts, exactly. A whole set of ghost gang. People staying home, going and attending other types of jobs and still collecting a salary for doing nothing whatsoever except pretending to be loyal to the PNM. A lot of them wasn't even loyal to the PNM, just collecting a salary. And therefore, we have to weed out the corrupt ones. We have to weed out the ghosts. We have to weed out CPEP and URP completely. I'm telling you, the solution is to give the Ministry of Works the responsibility to hire these individuals to perform those same maintenance duties. They will have permanent jobs, proper salaries, pension plan, everything like that. No one will be able to go and say, hey, look like a CPEP worker. No, these are government workers. The ghosts referred to follow a newspaper report in which URP officials noted that thousands of ghosts have been removed from the payroll, having been officially registered to work, but not showing up. Now, I just tell you, people were getting paid and no job was being done. Nothing was being done. All that now is coming to an end.
We don't intend to just dismiss these persons, as happened with CPEP, with the URP. We do have plans for job creation.
That's the promise from Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar following recent terminations under the CPEP and URP programs. Speaking to reporters outside of the Parliament on Friday afternoon, she insisted that the current state of the programs is one that cannot continue.
Well, it's unfortunate that we are at this stage where people need jobs, people need to be working. But we cannot, as I said to you, I think it was yesterday, I love people, but I don't like ghosts. And therefore we have to weed out the corrupt ones, we have to weed out the ghosts.
The ghosts she referred to follows a newspaper report in which URP officials noted that thousands of ghosts have been removed from the payroll, having been officially registered to work, but did not show up. Minister of Works and Infrastructure, Jolene John, defended government's move.
I just read that it was 8,000 ghosts. So you have to clean that up. You can't have voted so overwhelmingly for a new government and expect the same thing.
But Mrs. Persad-Bissessar said there is an even bigger problem.
It's not just about the corruption in the ghost gangs, it's the infiltration by criminal elements. And as you know, I am totally against any criminality at any stage. Maybe you'll say we can't stop it from the days of Adam and Eve, but we have to do all we can to root out criminality.
Minister in the Office of the Prime Minister, Barry Padarat, pointed out that government's first priority is protecting the interests and safety of citizens.
And this is a situation that has been left to languish for a number of years because the authorities were also raising these matters with the former administration, who had been in power for over 9.5 years and allowed this to flourish under them. And that is why the crime has run away. The gangs had felt as though that they were empowered because they were receiving funding from the state. And therefore, while we understand that there are concerns surrounding these programs on a social level, the onus on us first and foremost is protect the interests and the safety of our nation's citizens.
However, the Prime Minister showed that alternative employment opportunities will be announced.
In terms of jobs, we do have several measures going forward for creating jobs. And in the budget, which will be coming up soon, we will roll out and give more details. But we don't intend to just dismiss these persons, as happened with CPEP, with the URP. We do have plans for job creation, which I'll share with you on another occasion.
The Prime Minister said that there will be hard decisions that have to be made, pointing out that changes are necessary. Sonolala, TTT News.
The Ministry of the People, Social Development and Family Services will provide relief to former workers of the Unemployment Relief Program. The assurance from Minister of Rural Development and Local Government, Khadija Amin. The minister confirmed that over 200 URP workers from its 12 regional offices had received termination letters.
Mr. Speaker, relief will be provided to the general population because getting rid of corruption and ghost gangs and criminals will make more money available to this country. Relief will be provided to those workers as well as the general population because the money saved from that corruption that was so rampant under the last government will be utilized to create new jobs, meaningful jobs to real people, not ghost gangs and not ghosts in the office.
Regional news from Guyana. Police announced on Thursday that a 20-year-old male orthopedic technician has been detained as part of an investigation into report of the publication or transmission of an image of the private area of a person. I wonder if the private area is really the private area though, boy. That man had to be real, way boy. Committed on Lolita calendar called Lola Doll, the celebrity who was shot recently and was in critical condition, but she's recovering now, which occurred between September 6, 2025 at the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation. The orthopedic technician has since admitted to videoing the victim at the hospital with his cell phone. He, however, claimed that he did not share it on Facebook, but he only sent it to his ex-girlfriend via WhatsApp. And after he saw the video circulating on social media, he deleted the same from his phone, the police said in a release. Yeah, all right then. And somebody said, yeah, man, blame the ex. This update followed calls from the GPHC for police to probe the unauthorized videoing of a patient. While not naming calendar, the hospital said in a press release that the video was taken while the patient was in a vulnerable state and receiving emergency medical care. Bro, you're disgusting. That's what you are. Since opening its doors in 2023, the Mahaika Learning Lab has become a central point for persons with disabilities to network, interact, and engage with each other, learning, growing, and overcoming obstacles and challenges. The first of its kind in Guyana, the Learning Lab was designed with persons with disabilities in mind, providing free training for them in technical and vocational skills, including garment, construction, social media management, and job access and speech for the blind and visually impaired, and computer studies, among others. To the Learning Lab, which falls under the Support Services for Persons with Disabilities Unit, and by extension, the Ministry of Human Services and Social Security. So the government, Irfan Ali, is involved again, people. There's a persistent effort to break barriers to communication and improve opportunities for PWDs by offering access to jobs and training opportunities. In an interview at the Ministry of Human Services and Social Security's boardroom on Thursday, coordinator of the SSPDU, Mahendra Budram, highlighted that one of the things that was found in 2023 was that many persons with disabilities had difficulties in learning as a result of a lack of access to education. Once again, people, Irfan Ali administration, look at it, 2023. They have been performing well for the past 5 years, and now they have begun a new journey to make Guyana even greater. Now for international news, starting off with America, and starting off with a topic that still is so painful to think about. To think about that a man lost his life, 31 years old, simply because of having a difference of opinion with others in society and around the world, simply for being a Christian conservative. It is demonic what is taking place in the world right now. It's demonic to see videos of people saying that Charlie Kirk deserved to die simply because he was a Christian conservative that was against abortion, that was against the alphabet community type of lifestyle, and that he supported Israel. And that's what people consider to be evil and white supremacy and all type of utter nonsense. Also because he exposed and was showing the black community that they have cultural issues that they need to address. It is totally crazy how it's only about 13% of the population in America are African Americans, and yet over 50% of the murders in America are committed by African Americans. And it's all throughout the world. It's the same problem. It's something that is cultural, people. It is called gang culture. And gang culture has been infiltrating throughout communities around the world, throughout nations, around the world, through people throughout the world. And East Indians are following suit. East Indians are being engrossed, are getting involved and in love. They are falling in love with drug use, with weed, and gang culture. But still, at the end of the day, let us look even here in Trinidad and Tobago. There's still a higher percentage of Africans committing crime in Trinidad and Tobago compared to East Indians. And I will never be like how it has some East Indians in Trinidad who try to make it look as though all crimes are being committed by Afros. That is a blatant lie. There are murderers who are East Indians. There are drug pushers who are East Indians. There are bandits who are East Indians. There are people that commit all sorts of different sexual type of offenses and stuff like that are East Indians. But the reality still remains, for some reason or the other, in most countries, when you look at the statistics, Afros commit more crime than any other group. And the sad reality is, before I move on, the sad reality is, people, that Africans are the reality is Africans are the most racist groups in the entire world at this point in time. They're obsessed with racism. Everything that they don't agree with, they will accuse you of racism. They accuse everyone else in every other group, whether it's East Indian, whether it's Chinese, whether it's whites, Arabs, whoever. They accuse everyone else of being racist but themselves. They consider themselves not to be racist. And then when they do make racist type of comments, they say they have the rights to do that because their ancestors were slaves. A matter of fact, you have even radicals that say that they have the rights to commit murder because their ancestors were oppressed and they were slaves, and they are an oppressed people. So you're telling me you are so oppressed that you're killing your own black people? You are so oppressed in Africa, in Congo, in Nigeria, in Sudan, that you are killing your own fellow Africans because they refuse to convert to Islam? That is what you consider oppressed? Because this is not really about, the majority of times, you're not even waging any war against the so-called oppressors, people. You are killing your own people and then saying you are oppressed and that's why you are doing it. Here in Trinidad and Tobago, it's the same thing. Black on black crime is the most. In the statistics, most of the murders are black on black crimes here in Trinidad and Tobago. And then people will say what I am saying in this segment is racist. But it is a reality. Speaking the facts doesn't mean that I am racist. The vast majority, I am attracted to all races of women. When I'm standing up in Sarangada and watching women, it's women of all kind passing and they look beautiful. It's including the Venezuelan women. So this is not about racism for me. I'm not saying I'm perfect. But at the end of the day, this is not about trying to bring down anybody. Speaking the truth. And the Bible says that the truth shall set you free. But people don't want to hear the truth nowadays. People want you to speak lies so that they can feel good about themselves and continue just spewing hatred towards everybody else and discriminating about everybody else and playing victim while doing so. That is demonic, people. That is wrong. Now to actually read the report about Charlie Kirk, or the murder of Charlie Kirk. So Erica Kirk, his wife, said the evil assassination, actually. This wasn't just a murder, it was an assassination. The radical left wanted to get him out of the way. He had too much of influence on the youths of America. So she said, the evildoers responsible for my husband's assassination have no idea what they have done. They killed Charlie because he preached a message of patriotism, faith, and of God's merciful love. Exactly. And the Satan despises that, people. They should all know this. If you thought that my husband's mission was powerful before, you have no idea. You have no idea what you have just unleashed across this entire country and this world. That movement, people, is going to expand exponentially now. Anytime you try to actually literally oppress a people, that's what happens. A revolution will take place. And that's when she went on to say, you have no idea. My response online was, the left considered Charlie Kirk a threat to their woke agenda, so they eliminated him. Let's hope and pray that Christian conservatives will rise up and break their silence against evil, instead of hiding in corners and praying. We are the light of the world, people, and yet we keep that light hidden in our little closet. You cannot say that you are the light of the world and that we are the salt of the earth, and yet we are having no sort of influence on the culture in our society. And how can we have an influence in the culture of our society if we are silent? No one is saying to go and attack anyone and harass anyone and troll anyone or anything like that, or insult anyone intentionally. But we have to speak the truth, people. We cannot remain silent.
The evildoers responsible for my husband's assassination have no idea what they have done. They killed Charlie because he preached a message of patriotism, faith, and of God's merciful love. They should all know this. If you thought that my husband's mission was powerful before, you have no idea. You have no idea what you just have unleashed across this entire country and this world. You have no idea. You have no idea the fire that you have ignited within this wife. The cries of this widow will echo around the world like a battle cry.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi is visiting Manipur for the first time since ethnic clashes began in 2023. You see, East Indians versus East Indians. Tribalism is a spirit that has taken over the entire world. His focus is Churachandpur, the conflict's epicenter, where he will initiate projects worth rupees 7,300 crore. So, of course, it's not just 7,300 rupees. I think once you have the crore, it's like millions or whatever. While Imphal shows signs of stability, Kukis in Churachandpur remain skeptical about the government's promises. Over 250 people have been killed, scores wounded, women assaulted, violated. I don't like to use certain words, but the R word, and 60,000 displaced as the violence kept simmering even after a year. Such was the ferocity of the strife that it touched Meitei and Kuki people living in Delhi. I'm telling you, tribalism, people, is satanic. It was the same thing that was happening in Africa, in Rwanda, back in the 90s. People were killing each other because of tribes, you know, people. And then you want to talk about the white man. The white man put this in the mind of anybody? No. It's Satan that has been doing that to you all. No more overheating phones. Cool your phones in seconds. Prevents damage to phones and battery issues. Better gaming experience and streaming. USB powered and fast charging. Lightweight and quiet. Ideal for kids and adults. Works with all smartphones. Makes a great gift. Enjoy free island-wide delivery. Call or WhatsApp 868-762-6589. Now news from Israel. The UN General Assembly approved a declaration initiated by France and Saudi Arabia calling for the support of the two-state solution. A two-state solution that the Palestinians have been against since before 1948. Because at the end of the day, people, before I go on to read what it is, what is reported there, the Palestinians boldly declared to the entire world, from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. That's from the river of Jordan to the sea. So at the end of the day, they do not want Israel to exist. And they boldly declare that they will wipe Israel off the map. So this is not a two-state solution. But you see, the leaders of the world are under the control of Satan through the Antichrist spirit. Getting back into the news report now. The assembly convened today, Friday. Well, that was yesterday, of course, and passed the New York Declaration by a vote of 142 in favor, 10 against, and 12 abstentions. The declaration addresses the Israeli-Palestinian conflict and the implementation of a two-state solution. They don't want the Israelis to annex Judea and Samaria. They don't want that at all. So that's why they're desperately moving quickly to declare a Palestinian state. The proposal introduced by France and Saudi Arabia was first adopted at the New York conference held in July. Why it is Trump still has the headquarters for the anti-Semitic and anti-Zionist United Nations in America still, I would love to know. I wonder if he has jurisdiction. He could kick them out. I mean, he's supposed to. He's the president of the United States, although it's in New York, far-left radical Democrats, New York, but still. It outlines an action plan intended, according to its sponsors, to establish an irreversible, that's what they're saying, to try to force and bully Israel, path towards the creation of a Palestinian state. End time ministries will love to hear about this because, you know, they're always talking about how it will end up being, it will come to pass where the world, some leader, will force Israel into submission to accept a two-state solution and force the Arabs as well, because the Arabs don't want a two-state solution. But the sad thing about it is Israel they're going to try to force Israel to submit and live next door to people that want to eliminate them. Israel doesn't want to eliminate the Palestinians, but the Palestinians do want to eliminate the Israelis and publicly say it all the time. Anyhow, Israel's ambassador to the United Nations, Danny Danon, spoke at the assembly and strongly criticized the decision. 100% support what he said. This is what he said here. This is a hollow proposal that completely ignores reality. It's not diplomacy. This is forcing Israel, people like bullying. This is a unilateral declaration that embraces the lies of our enemies and gives backing to Hamas. This proposal does not bring peace closer. It prolongs the war, exactly. Because it empowers Hamas, it gives Hamas the encouragement, even though their heads are now dead, have been sent into eternity. These are murderers, and these are the kind of individuals that I rejoice when they're sent into eternity. Because they committed crimes, people. Crimes against humanity. Literal crimes, not opinions. Not because they have opinions. It's because they are actual, literal murderers. You went on to say this proposal doesn't bring peace closer, it prolongs the war. When Hamas is the one cheering these decisions, it is clear that this is a prize for terror, not a step towards peace. Exactly.
Kirk once said there's no such thing as Palestinians. Well, right now there's no such thing as Charlie Kirk anymore. Free Palestine. I've seen so many Palestinians being unalived every single day. And right now the world is going crazy over a white supremacist who's been assassinated for, I mean.
You guys are just disgrace, man. This is why I don't stand by your cause, because your cause is bullshit. Day after day, you guys make me believe that I should shout free, free common sense, free, free the truth, and free, free Israel. As an Iraqi, Christian, Canadian, I will always free, free the truth and free, free Israel. Because you guys are disgrace. No matter what the world gives you, you guys just keep shitting on it. The entire world is standing by your cause, and now you're calling it white supremacy just because an innocent man have been unalived who had done no harm, not to you, not to your cause, not to anybody. You come here and just be happy that he's unalived, and here you are, a Gazan people, a Philistine person, cheering over an innocent man who had done no harm to nobody in the world. You are proving you're worse than the people you're complaining about. You're proving that living with you guys, with people like you guys, is impossible, because you guys believe in your existence and the not existing of everybody else. This is how I get convinced every single day that I should shout free, free Israel, free, free common sense, and free, free the truth. Because the truth is that if you guys exist, you guys will shit on every single person who stood by you guys. And this is a proof, because every single white country in the world protest, rallies, etc., send you aid, send you money, send you food. But here you go. Just because you lost attention for less than 24 hours, you shit on a plate that's been feeding you, that's been helping you over and over. You guys are nothing but disgrace to the entire world. And yes, free, free Israel.
I hope he was going to be found guilty, I would imagine, and I hope he gets the death penalty.
Watching that, yeah. J.D. Vance was supposed to be with you. He went out to be with Charlie Kirk's family and to get the body back to his hometown in Arizona. And you said you were going to award him the Presidential Medal of Freedom, which is very nice of you. Any updates on this suspect?
Yeah. Can I always say, I think, just to protect us all, and so Fox doesn't get sued, and we all don't get sued, and everything else. But I think with a high degree of certainty, we have him in custody, right? In custody. Everyone did a great job. We worked with the local police, the governor. Everybody did a great job. You know, getting somebody that you start off with absolutely nothing. And we started off with a clip that made him look like an ant that was almost useless. We just saw there was somebody up there. And so much work has been done over the last 2.5 days. You know, it's amazing, actually, when you start off with that and then all of a sudden you get lucky or talent or whatever it is. But, yeah, I think we're in great shape.
Mr. President.
And he's in custody.
Upper building, he's going to come out on the right, moves to this far right corner. As he does, he's going to climb off the edge and then drop down to the ground. As he did that, he left some palm impressions. There's some smudges, some places we're looking to collect DNA. There's a shoe imprint where we believe the suspect is clearly identified as wearing Converse tennis shoes. Again, we'll replay that again so you can get another view of that. It's important to note his black T-shirt, his black pants, and there appears to be some white on the soles of those Converse tennis shoes. Those are all identifiable items that we're looking for in the.
You won't be disappointed with this one. Look and feel great every day. Painless trimming with no pulling of hair guaranteed. Comfortable to hold and lightweight. Intelligent anti-pinch system. Safety travel lock. Accurate and painless trimming. Durability, 100% quality. Fast charging. To place an order, call or WhatsApp 868-762-6589. Folks, that brings us to the end of today's news report. Thanks again to everyone who continues to support my content. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. Stay blessed and stay safe, most of all, in Jesus' name.